Breaking news on KCAL News at 10. Police surrounding hundreds of protesters inside a tunnel after a day of immigration marches and rallies in downtown LA.
And we want to get straight to our Jeff Nguyen, who is right in the middle of all of this. Jeff?
Yeah, so right now they are basically clearing out this tunnel. As you look right behind me, you can see people are being escorted out of here. As you can see, there are dozens and dozens of police officers as well as dozens of detainees. We were told about 200 people, or as much as 200 people, were detained in here. And some of this was serendipitous, some of it was strategic, as the LAPD was trying to corral people. A number of these protesters ran into this tunnel, and when they got in here, they were basically met by LAPD on both sides. Let's go ahead and roll some video for you on what's been going on for the last 20 minutes or so. About 20 minutes earlier, the LAPD told people, if you cooperate with us, you will not be arrested. Don't put up a fight. Do not struggle. Do not throw swings at us, and we will escort you out of here without arresting you. Before they do that, they will take some of these detainees, and I'm going to ask Ben to kind of flip the camera in this direction. And what they do is they will check people for weapons before they do that. So far, this whole process has been very peaceful in the last hour or so. But the reason they wanted to put a cap on some of the behavior that was going on earlier tonight was that we saw a series of dangerous and completely asinine actions, if you will. Take a look at this video. This is dangerous video that we captured earlier of a convertible Mustang doing donuts. Two people are in the back seat recording on their phone when the rear left wheel of that Mustang smacked right into the curb. The force sending one of the passengers' phones flying through the air. We had a sense that something bad was going to happen because moments earlier, that driver was whipping donuts right in front of a moving Metro bus, narrowly missing the bus as it drove through the intersection. And after the Mustang crashed, a mob of young people started to surround it. A young woman was holding onto the side of the convertible when the driver stepped on the gas, and that young woman went face first into the pavement. In addition to all of that, there was this piece of video that we captured, or that was given to us rather. This man was waving a flag in the middle of an intersection when a motorcycle hits him and he goes down very hard. Earlier, we saw the LAPD declaring an unlawful assembly, allowing people plenty of opportunities to get out of here. Some chose not to do it. Others stayed. Officers managed to keep demonstrators off the 101 freeway by deploying officers to the on and off ramps. And at around 7:15 or so, most of the crowd near the freeway had dispersed, but then hundreds of people started shifting around, some of them moving to the corner of Main and Temple, which is just right outside of City Hall. Now, the backstory on all of this and why this demonstration took place is that since President Trump took office on January 20th, he has acted on his campaign promise to increase deportations. The administration has been promising to expel people who are in the country illegally, particularly those who are charged or convicted of crimes. And last month, the New York Times and Ipsos conducted a poll and found that 55% of Americans surveyed support the president's deportation plans. We asked a number of demonstrators about that polling and why they came out to demonstrate.
Not only is it me, I have a kid as well. And I wouldn't want my kid to be targeted and to be separated from me, even though he's a U.S. citizen. So that is a big thing, because in my neighborhood, even in these streets, I am being targeted just because of the way I look, just because of the language that I speak.
Well, my parents are immigrants, and I always grew up fearing that, one day I was going to come home from school and they were just not going to be there anymore. And so I just feel like it's important, to be out here.
It shows me that the majority of people understand what President Trump's plan is all about. We understand the difference between legal and illegal immigration, and we understand that his plan to start with felonious criminal aliens, that people who cause DUIs and accidents and do other crimes, they're the first to go.
So back here live, you see this young man. He is being handcuffed right now. We should tell you that most of the people out here have not been handcuffed. Chances are people who are being cuffed are either accused of using force or throwing a bottle or a rock or doing something other than failing to disperse, which is why you see a number of people being cuffed out here. But by and large, most of the people here, we're told, are going to get a verbal warning and then they will be allowed to leave. You know, we were here live about an hour ago, and what you saw was a large number of people basically sitting on the sidewalk like over there. And the reason for that is that the department, the LAPD, has learned a lot of lessons since 2020. You may remember when we were covering some of the civil unrest in 2020, especially for someone like me, I was on Fairfax Street, and a number of people were handcuffed, and the LAPD has since then decided to not do that when the order is failure to disperse. Unless someone is violent, they will not handcuff them, and some of that is for prosecutorial reasons. The last thing they want to do is violate anyone's civil rights. So by allowing people to be on the phone, to be able to be in touch with their family, there is less of a claim that their civil rights are being violated. The other part in that as well is that if people are not handcuffed, then it also lowers the temperature. It is a de-escalating method as well. But for a long time, for about an hour, people were just basically allowed to sit here as the LAPD decided to figure out what they would do next. But we are told by LAPD that the vast majority of these people will get verbal warnings and released unless they committed some sort of violent allegation. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Jeff Nguyen, thank you so much. Let's get up to our Desmond Shaw live in SkyCal now.
Des, you've been up there over these protests for hours.
Yes, Leslie and Susie, here we are not too far away from where Jeff is, the tunnel underneath Union Station. It's been a raucous and rowdy day all across downtown, but this is finally beginning to die down. Let's show you what we saw just a couple of moments ago, where that huge squadron of CHP units there just completely left the scene. Looks like they're going to be returning to normal duty. And we just heard up here as well that LAPD's helicopter is no longer really circling around downtown, looking for some of those stragglers over by City Hall. Those groups have mostly dispersed. So this looks to be the largest action left, and we've been seeing some people coming out in zip ties and others not. Some of them gathered right over here on the corner, it looks like. So hopefully they'll just be going home for the night, and this will all kind of return to normal. It was definitely a very tough day for LA traffic all across downtown LA, even into the late night, with some people being stuck at intersections because they were all completely full of protesters. But definitely in the winding down stages here, right underneath Union Station. Live at SkyCal overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw. Send it back to you now in the studio.